Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. It's Wednesday, so it's my shtick day. This rabbi, this priest, and this minister are discussing what do they do with the funds that they collect from the congregation. How much do they use for the church or the temple, the synagogue, and how much do they use for their own personal use? So the priest says, well, my method is very simple. I just draw a line on the floor. I take all the cash, I throw it up in the air. Whatever falls to the right of the line, we keep for the congregation. Whatever falls to the left of the line, I use my own personal use. And the minister says, oh, it's very interesting. I do something very similar, except I draw a circle and I throw the money up, and whatever lands on the inside of the circle, well, the congregation keeps. Whatever's on the outside of the circle, I use for my personal use. It's very interesting. Rabbi, what do you do? Says, well, something kind of similar. I just throw the money up in the air, and whatever God catches, he can keep, and everything else I keep. Anyway, when I talk about the power of affirmation, I know it has a kind of imaginary abstraction for many people, and yet it's one of the most practical things you can think about. This is the primal power of being. To bring into being, the logos speaks forth, let there be, and there is. And it's the birthright of all people. It's perfectly simple. And once you understand this is a source of energy that's stronger than electricity, inexhaustible, more potent than high explosives, and right within your own brain. It's amazing that we don't train people to think this way and utilize it their whole life. This is the indwelling power. You can call it the inner light, but it just means the spiritual idea connected to positive thinking. And you can gradually develop this like anything else. It's a practice. I'm always talking about repeat things again and again, whether it's yoga asana or certain moral qualities that you want to embody. And then ultimately, the idea is to allow this power within you to take care of your whole life. That is basically the lesson today. Take care of yourself. Once you understand that all we see is our own concepts, our own stories, the narrative, the lens through which we put it on our head, and like being jaundiced, everything looks yellow. So we see our own concepts. And when you realize that we make our own world by the way we think, and then you realize why there's so much division. So many people are lost in their own reality tunnel. So we can't focus on saving everybody. Start to save yourself first. And that leads me into my whole idea about taking care of yourself. A lot of people think that it's indulgent. And people who are self-critical, people who are driven, people who are stoic, they think that caring for yourself is stupid. You should care for other people, right? But if you take a moment to acknowledge your difficulties, your challenges, and the suffering, and realize that the more you can receive self-care, it primes the circuits in you to give it to other people. If you could remember yourself as a sweet, vulnerable, and precious little child, and extend the loyalty, the caring, the strength that little kid needs or needed to yourself, you will help your future self, whether it's the self of next week, next month, next year, next decade, which I always like to say is that's who you have the greatest commitment to and the most responsibility, your future self. So you feel for other people when they suffer and you have compassion for them, do the same for yourself. Feel what it's like to extend loyalty, concern, warmth with determination and advocacy to yourself, like you're a big brother or big sister to yourself. But of course, not only just to your inner child, which you bring along with you, and I hope you carry a picture of yourself in your wallet to remind you what a beautiful being you are and were, even if you had some experiences that we wish no one would have. So awareness hurts. I understand recognition of this stuff sometimes is tough, but it's an important part of your neurological and psychological makeup to evolve that part of you that cares. That's the one that nurtures children, bonds with mates, and like builds a village, holds it together. And that's what I call social capital, building trust between people, but it begins by building trust within yourself. And yes, we have what we call the negativity bias. Somehow it's easier to see what's wrong, what's off. And we tend to respond to it from the old days of what I call amygdala hijacking, where that part of you that has to make a quick decision before your rational mind can think in order to keep you alive, it kind of overrides everything else. But sometimes it's on automatic instead of we should watch our reactions, temper it, slow it down, and sometimes completely say, stop, that's not what I want to do. And then you focus on something more positive. So bond with yourself. I know it's difficult, but it's worthwhile because you're the only one who's been with you from day one. Nobody checks in for you. No one hits the mat for you. No one's going to check out for you. So you might as well develop a good relationship with yourself, care for yourself, compassion for yourself, love for yourself. All right, that's it for today. I want to say that we've opened one space in Mexico for a female practitioner. This would be a great deal for you. It's not too late to come on. I'll mention this for the next week or so until we fill up this space. February 25th to March 4th. Go onto my website, gabrielhalpern.com, and you'll find out all you need to know about that. All right, see you up ahead.